Hi, hello, g'day, kia ora, welcome to the studio. I'm Paula from MoxyMojo. Today we are doing the 11th of December, the least favourite ephemera and bookbinders art. Now this is one of the hardest prompts for me to decide what to do, because to be honest, I don't really have a least favourite piece of ephemera. So I've gone with the one that I probably use the least. And it's not because I don't like it, it's usually because I forget to do it. Yet having said that, I've already used it once in my Dephemerember journals, and that is mini file folders. They are one of the most simplest things to do, yet I keep forgetting to use them. So that's going to be the basis of what this prompt response is about. The other thing is bookbinders art. Now for me, one of my favourite things about books is the art that they have on the cover. And in particular, where a cover has got like gold on there and embossing, which can you see on this? On this, is it, I think it's Japanese book. There's a little bit of embossing there on the spine, as well as the gold lettering. Here you can't really see it, but you can feel the lettering in the title. This one here is quite unusual because it's got like a frame around it, both front cover and the spine, and then there's something in the written and embossed in the front. Can you see it there? Which I can't for the life of me work out what it says. So I might have to do some kind of a rubbing or something. A lot of the spines in the older books have got that gold lettering and it's embossed. And occasionally you do get images on the front like this. And in this colour is unusual. Here we've got the letters in the front cover and also the author's name are embossed. Now this one's particularly beautiful because this was a hymnal. But someone found it quite interesting art because I can see pencil lines where they've traced over the images in the cross. This one's also been stamped by the school because it was a gift or a prize awarded in 1935. This one's beautiful. I love the frame, but also the texture of the cover itself. You can see there's like vertical lines over the entire cover. This one's got just beautiful embossing on it. And this one is definitely a favourite of mine. You can see how deep this embossing is. And then it's finished off with the gold in the title. And you can actually really feel that texture. So that's what I'd like to recreate. Some kind of texture on the front cover of my file folder. Let me move all these book covers. So I've pulled out some black cardstock. I've got a scrap and a A4 page. I've also pulled out this. Now this is I'm guessing it's a sheet from a old style photo album maybe. I found it in a second-hand store, a pile of them. It's lighter weight than the cardstock, but I thought it could be interesting to make a file folder out of and just see what it's like. So I thought that'd be perfect for making file folders. And I mean, the scrap here, it doesn't matter what size of file folder I'm making, as long as it fits in the journal. That's really the key here. Now, I've got the file folder sorted, so I need to think about the decoration. And what I was looking at was my embossing folders. So I've gone through and looked at all the different stencil or samples I've got of them. And so I've picked up a couple of like larger ones. So I've got this tree. It's a sycamore. So that's what it looks like, if you can see that. And then I've got this one. This is a new one, so I haven't done a sample of this yet. This is called Timeless Garden. And I think this was a freebie in a magazine. I've then got some borders. And these are for like the edges of something. So I've got Organic Flourish. And Ironworks. So I thought I'd give these a go as decorations on my file folders. I mean, these border ones I could do like just a strip on the side, I was thinking. The tree and the Timeless Garden, I could do the whole front of the file folder, or even wrap it around. But I quite like this frame on here as well, but then maybe I'd need to cut out the clocks in the middle. I don't know. I mean, that's an option there. And then, so having then embossed them, and this is essentially dry embossing, not the heat embossing with the powder and the heat tool. And then on some of the raised areas, I thought I might try putting some gilding on. Now, ignore the container. It's just a storage container, because inside here I've got some of my gilding flakes. And then I've got some sizing adhesive, which is a special type of glue that you use for putting gilding on. So I'm going to give this a go. First of all, I will trim some bits down to size. I need to at least make sure they fit in my journal. Then I will run them through the embossing machine. So you won't be able to see that bit because there's not enough room between the camera and my table. So I'll come back and we'll show you what it looks like after it's embossed. And then I'll show you how to do some sizing and putting the gilding on. Hopefully this will be a nice, quick, prompt response, unlike some of my earlier ones, and no doubt what some of the later ones will be like. So let's get down to it. So the first thing I need is my cutter to trim these down to size. I just want to check what kind of size I need. Now, in order to put them in here, I need to fit them into a pocket. So I just want to look. So I've got a pocket here. I've got tuck spots in here, so maybe they can fit into there. I've still got some pockets available. Let's just quickly measure. So the maximum width I really want to use is about 5 inches, and that includes any tabs. Now if I'm cutting tabs, I might actually try this scissors on the edge tab as well, because I haven't used it for a while. So we'll cut everything down to size first. Okay, so we've got these 3. Right, I'm going to emboss them. So we've got that one with that with that, and then I need to pick one of these. Right, okay, this could be a tough decision. I will let you know which one I've picked when I come back. Okay, so everything is embossed. So that was the border one I used. I don't know if you can see it there or not. And it's a Cuttlebug by Provo Craft. The tree, and when I put this through, my cardstock and sandwich must have been slightly just on an angle, because I've ended up creasing on the side here, but that's okay. I'm sure we can fix that up. And then this is, can you see it there? So we've got quite a lot on that one there. So I'm just going to put those aside there. Now what I'm going to try is, I've got a very small paintbrush, and I've used this one with my size before, my sizing adhesive before. And what I'm going to do is paint over the raised bit on here. So hopefully you can see that. I'm just going to give this a shake, and I'm going to put the smallest amount on my craft mat, because a little goes a long way and you really don't need a lot. There we go. So that's it. And you really, I mean, even if you've got a large area to do, you'll only really want to do a small amount of glue at a time. And when it goes on, you see it looks kind of blue. So now I am just going to try and paint this onto the raised area of this cardstock. And you'll see as it dries, it turns clear but remains tacky. And I will warn you that if you get any of the adhesive in an area that you don't want it, you cannot get rid of it. So I will carry on and do this and bring you back for the next step. Okay, so my glue has now all gone tacky, my sizing adhesive I should say. So what I'm going to do is apply the various bits of gold flake onto it. So now I've got mine in this jar. Like I said, it's a recycled jar. I'm using stamp tweezers. to pick up a piece of sizing and then layer it on. And then I just use my finger to press it onto the sizing. And I'm just going to pick up any excess where I can see there's like a big amount of excess, and I'll put it onto another area. So now you can, I try to put mine on as flat as possible, but you can just kind of drag on whatever piece you've got. And then just press it on quite firmly. So then I'll get another piece. And some of these pieces are quite small. It doesn't matter how big it is. And you'll see sometimes they are layered up and folded over. So you can just kind of pull that off with either your fingers or tweezers and move that onto another area. Oops, tried to pick up the cardboard as well then. And what I'm just doing is making sure that the entire sticky surface is covered in the gold flake. Right, so here's a big piece. So now I'm going to gently unfold it as much as possible. So we've got quite a large surface area there. So I am going to put that over all of this area here. And I've got some excess here, which I can see. I'm going to pull that up, and I try to make sure I've got a piece that's at least big enough for the area that I want to cover. Okay, so that one will do there. Because I find it does start to get a little bit too awkward and fiddly if you have got a whole lot of really small pieces that you're trying to use. So now I've got like a double thickness there. Excuse my stomach. Right, so now I'm going to pick up another piece. Right, that's a nice big piece. Open it out. Now, because these are flakes, or some of them are larger, some of them are smaller. Whereas if you had sheets, you would get like a square of gold leaf. And it would be, you know, quite large depending on, you know, the supply that you could get. So it's kind of, it's not kind of, it's quite fiddly and detail orientated, and you do need to be patient for it. But if you quite like all of those, then it's very satisfying. So I'm going to carry on and finish this and do my other ones, and then we will be back. I'll come back to show you what happens next. Okay, so we've got all our gold leaf onto our size. Best tools that you've got are your fingers, and what I'm going to do is just gently but reasonably firmly press the gold leaf onto the sizing. I'm wanting to make sure that it is well and truly adhered in place. And while I'm doing this, I can sort of pick off any excess gold leaf that's there. I try and pick off any that's larger sort of areas. I'm using my finger to really kind of press it down, but at the same time also rub off any of that excess. I've been through pretty much the entire area there and removed the most of the excess, and you do find it sticks to you. I'm just going to shake this off, hopefully getting most of it onto this piece of paper. So I will tip that back into my jar because I don't want to waste any of it. You will find that it has a tendency to cling to anything and everything. So you find gold turning up in the strangest of places for a couple of days afterwards. So now I'm going to use a soft makeup brush, but any kind of soft paintbrush will do. I use one that is dedicated to my gold sizing and my gold flakes, and that way I don't have to worry about anything else getting caught up in the bristles. So I've just done this sort of scroll at the end, and you can immediately see how you can brush off everything that wasn't glued down. So any of the excess just brushes away. And you just brush around and sort of circle around. Make sure you're brushing from all different directions. And then that will remove any excess that is sitting on the surface that isn't attached to sizing of adhesive. So there we are. That's gold leafing for you. So now that I've done this, I will show you what the others look like once they're done. So I've finished off these file folders by folding them, or cutting the tab and then folding them so that the two edges meet, and then I've rounded all the corners, including the center ones, just because I like the way it looks, and also because I think it helps you to like push the file folders, or any ephemera for that matter, into pockets and tucks and that sort of thing. You don't get caught on any sharp edges. So we've got a top tab, a middle tab, and then a making the use of whatever was in the paper tab. Now, as you can see, so these two, I did the gilding on the entire embossed design. This one, I've only picked up the clock hands, so you don't have to do the entire thing. You can do as much or as little as you like pick out highlights, that sort of thing. So I'm really pleased with these. It's my ephemera that I don't necessarily least like, but I probably least use. And the embossing and the gilding just reminds me of a lot of the detail that you have in the older books that many new books just don't have. So there's only one last thing to do, or two things to do, and that is to put these into the journal, into our Dephemerember journal. And so for this we wanted a pocket. So now we've got a pocket there in the front. I've also got these tucks that it could go in. That pocket's full, so how about we go to the other end of the journal, away from the pocket that's full. We've got that one there, or maybe in a tuck. Will they fit in there? Perhaps we can put like 1 and 2. If I do them like that, then we can see that we've got 2 there. And will that one fit as well, or does that need to... Oh, yep, that can hide in there as well. So before I do that, though, I should really put a date stamp somewhere, because that pocket, or that tuck's going to be fairly full once I get them in there. So now, it was the 10th, wasn't it? Yes, it is the 10th. No, it's the 11th. Obviously, my days are already starting to run into one another. So we've got the 11th of December. So maybe along here. There we go. 11th of December, 2024. Right, and now you can go in. So, we'll put you in there. Those tabs look awesome. Right. Thank you for joining me today for the prompt. I hope you've had as much fun as what I have. I know I loved every minute of this one. I can't wait to see you back in the studio for the next prompt. Bye for now.